Have you ever wondered how some people seem to just have their lives totally together? They're crushing their goals, they're meditating at sunrise, they're eating healthy, and they still have time to binge watch their favorite shows. Magic? Luck? No, neither. Their secret sauce is habits. Those tiny little repeatable actions that over time, they lead to massive results. So let's dive into some life-changing power of habits and why they're the top MVP to your personal growth. Let's start off talking about why habits are a big deal, because everyone's talking about habits. Did you know that your brain loves habits? Habits are your brain's way of really saving energy. Instead of deciding every single day whether to brush your teeth or to hit snooze, you just seem to do it, right? That's the beauty and sometimes the danger of habits. And some fun facts about habits. About 45% of your daily actions are automatic. Yep, almost half of everything that you do each and every day happens without conscious thought. That's pretty scary that we walk around and we're not even really consciously understanding what we're doing. Yikes, right? And what's cool about it is that you're kind of crushing it without your mind getting into your emotions and all of that, negativity that could be getting in the way. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, I immediately go and work out. I don't think about it, I just do it. And I don't ever get that feeling of dread like I would if I put it off till later in the day and I had to make time for it. So if you can set yourself up with putting your hard task earlier in the day, you can get past them and you can move on to things that are a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable. Building a habit takes an average of around 66 days. Not the 21 days like you've probably heard from all those gurus. I know for me, 21 days just doesn't cut it. It's a start and I'm feeling it, but it's not enough to be life-changing or game-changing at all. So consistency is really the key here. And people who plan and track their habits seem to be 42% more likely to achieve their goals, according to Dominican University. I wasn't always a believer in writing goals or writing plans or making, projections of what I even wanted to do as far as my goals. And I've seen the power of sitting down and making goals come to action on paper and putting a plan together. So even though it's time consuming and it seems really painful to make yourself sit still and think, what do I really want? And how am I going to get there? I actually think that's the hardest part of making a decision is doing that. And I don't know if it's just me, but there's a point where sometimes I'm like, what do I really want? I'm not really sure. And I find that with so many people I meet that they want to change their lives, but they have no idea what they really want. I believe there's a compound effect on taking some small habits and turning them into these big wins that we talk about. And here's the mind-blowing part. Habits compound over time. So it's almost like that snowball effect. Think of it as investing in yourself. So imagine this. Say you're reading 10 pages a day. You make that to be your goal. You're going to read 12 books in a year. And say you decide, I'm going to save $5 a day. That's not really a lot of money when you think about it. But after a year, you have $1,825. And another example might be exercising for 20 minutes a day. You're going to have a stronger, healthier you. And in the end, I know, because this happened to me, I started off with 15 or 20 minutes of exercise, and now I'm doing an hour. I started to enjoy it more. I started to find different exercises that I liked. And when you mix it up a little bit, you don't get so bored over things. So those tiny, tiny actions repeated daily, they can create exponential results. So you're probably thinking, how can I build some life-changing habits? Start ridiculously small. You want to exercise every day? Start with a few push-ups. You want to write a novel? Maybe commit to one sentence or a few sentences or a paragraph a day. Momentum is greater than perfection. Another tip might be anchoring new habits to existing ones. So this is something that you can easily do. Say you're brushing your teeth in the morning. Then once you're done, add 10 squats afterward. Your morning coffee, maybe journal for 2 minutes while it's brewing or before taking your first sip. This is called habit stacking, and it's a real game changer. James Clear talks about it in his book, Atomic Habits. So check that out. He writes a lot about these small things that we could do to have big results in the long term, in the long run. So you're going to also want to reward yourself. I mean, life is so boring if we don't get to enjoy it, right? So habits stick when your brain associates with that dopamine boost. So after completing your habit, treat yourself to something you enjoy. A high five, a gold star, or even maybe a small indulgence. When it comes to bad habits, you need to break up with them like a bad relationship, right? We all have a few habits we'd rather not keep around. Like maybe scrolling the YouTube shorts a little too long in the evening or being up till 2 a.m. on TikTok. Anyone? Here's how to gently kick them to the curb. You're going to want to make your habit invisible. Keep temptations out of sight. So if your phone is the problem, stash your phone away into another room. Don't take it to bed with you at all. Another tip is make this bad habit unattractive. Reframe the bad habit as something unappealing. For example, think about it like late night snacking. It might hurt your energy the next day, or you might not sleep well because you have this snack in your belly. You may want to leave yourself a sticky note on your favorite snack, reminding you of this is not a good idea. You also want to replace that habit. Instead of doom scrolling, grab a book, call a friend, or maybe take a quick walk. There's so much science-backed information on habit hacks. So there's a few to consider. Maybe a 2-minute rule. It takes less than 2 minutes to do something, just do it. This lowers resistance and it really helps you get started. Another one might be track your progress. So whether it's a habit tracker app or maybe a calendar, just a plain old sheet of paper even. Seeing your streak grow, it motivates you to keep going. And your environment matters. So surrounding yourself in the right environment can either support or sabotage your habits. If you want to get healthier, then keep those healthy foods visible, either in your fridge or on your counter, and hide the cookies or get rid of them altogether. I know it's tough when you have kids or if you have family members that aren't on the same page with your goals. So who are your real life habit heroes? So do you guys have any? Take a cue from some of these inspiring stories. So Stephen King writes 2,000 words every morning, no exceptions. That's how he published over 60 novels. And Jerry Seinfeld's Don't Break the Chain method, it involves marking off each day he writes jokes. And this streak motivated him to keep going. So what's your habit action plan? Or how can you create one? This week, pick one habit, just one, that you'd like to build. Start small, stack it into some existing habits, and track your progress. Remember, consistency beats intensity each and every time. You may want to create your own tracker. This is what I do. And it's as simple as creating a spreadsheet in Excel or even just on a piece of paper. Write down the habit and the dates from today to 2 months from now. And every day check off when you kept your word to yourself. You'll be so surprised about how powerful this is. I did this years ago when I stopped drinking alcohol. I didn't have an issue. I just really didn't like the way that I felt from drinking. And my husband and I got into a habit of having a glass of wine after work, and that needed to stop. So I made a paper tracker, and every day I checked the box on the days that I was successful. And there were many days that were bad. We all have bad days at work or just things happen in life. And you might have that urge to pour a glass of wine. I looked at my list and I didn't want to break my running streak. How funny is that, right? So to me, it wasn't worth starting over again because I had bragging rights. I had some really big bragging rights that I didn't have a drink for a month, so I couldn't break my streak. I haven't had a drink or an urge to drink in many, many years now, but something to try. It's just a mental hack maybe. So I'll leave you with this gem. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but it's a habit. And that came from Will Durant. So what habit are you going to crush this week? Let us know in the comments. We are rooting for you. So if you found this content helpful, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.